My first recommendation always is, what are your symptoms? And not all women have symptoms of perimenopause or menopause, but knowing your symptoms is really important. And then finding a provider or doctor that will support you during this journey is crucial. And this is the hard part, is finding a doctor that will be there. And you need someone. I've had my doctor for 10 years and he has changed my life, because I went in his office and he said, "You are not depressed. You just don't have any hormones." And he gave me the strength to say, "You just need progesterone. You need testosterone. You need estrogen." He gave me that support. So finding a doctor that will support you during this stage is so important. And it's hard. It is probably the hardest part to find that, to get that access, but everything's hard. It's hard. Everything in life is hard. And we just have to work harder. And I know it sounds bad, but we have to just work harder at our hormone health.
Welcome to the House of Germar podcast, where wellness starts within. The House of Germar is a lifestyle brand, empowering women to live all in through interior design and personal wellness. We are a destination for women ready to reimagine what is possible in their homes and lives, and then create it. We are honored to have you join us on our mission to empower 1 million women to live all in. I am your host, Jean Collins, and I invite you to become inspired by this week's guest. Welcome, everybody. I'm your host, Jean Collins, and today we are talking to Danielle Stanton. I am so excited. She is friends with Matt Stern. So if you follow my show and you've watched some of my episodes, go back about a month and a half and see my episode with Matt Stern. And there we started talking about women's health and wellness. And as a result of my conversation with him, he connected me to Danielle. And I am so excited to talk to her. She has an incredible history and incredible background. She is all about health and wellness, women's health and wellness. She has a super, super cool way that she got to where she is. And she is not only helping adults, she's also helping kids with some of her newest product lines. So we're going to talk about that. So Danielle, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Oh, it is such an honor. And I follow you on Instagram. So everyone right now, hit pause, go to the show notes, go and follow Danielle on Instagram, because this woman is in incredible physical shape, which just shows all of us like life does not end when our hormones start to tell us something different. She's in incredible shape. Her love life, her story, her husband, you guys are so stinking cute. And I have to tell you, like, you help motivate me to go work out a little bit harder, think a little bit more about what I put in my body. So I thank you for your content. And I encourage everybody, go follow.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You are welcome. So I would love to start out. You have a deep story, and I would love to share some of that. So if you wouldn't mind, give us a little bit of the background about the things that have happened to you in life that have gotten you to where you are.
Yeah, it always feels like I can say 10 years ago, I started really experiencing now I can realize that there were symptoms of perimenopause, but my late 30s, I was experiencing depression, anxiety, insomnia, and I was always a very happy person. I've never really experienced depression, but this depression was crippling and I didn't know what to do. And so, right away, your first thing you do is you see a doctor, and unfortunately you get diagnosed and you get prescribed medication. And I unfortunately went down a road that was very bumpy because it was the wrong diagnosis. And, 10 years ago, we weren't talking about hormone health. So I didn't know back then that, maybe I should check my hormones. Maybe I'm in perimenopause. But unfortunately, you're labeled something and you run with these medications and it just wreaks havoc on your body. And at some point, I just said, there has to be more. There has to be a root cause to this, because if I'm on all these medications and I'm still depressed, there has to be more. And then this is kind of how I evolved with my company and who I am today. My hormone health has been a big part of my life. And it has really, that pain of experiencing all that has been a gift. because now I can give back and explain, what I went through and the early signs and really educate women about starting, if you're having symptoms, starting HRT early and knowing the symptoms. So that's kind of how I started.
So, how, just to give people some really practical advice, because I feel like for myself, I'm 55, so I'm older than you, and I'm in menopause. And I too got to a point where I felt like nothing I am doing is working. Like
Mhm.
nothing's working. And I found it really hard to know what I was supposed to do or where I was supposed to go. So, what did you do, or what would you suggest someone does?
Well, my first recommendation always is, what are your symptoms? And not all women have symptoms of perimenopause or menopause, but knowing your symptoms is really important. And then finding a provider or doctor that will support you during this journey is crucial. And this is the hard part, is finding a doctor that will be there. And you need someone. I've had my doctor for 10 years and he has changed my life, because I went in his office and he said, "You are not depressed. You just don't have any hormones." And he gave me the strength to say, "You just need progesterone. You need testosterone. You need estrogen." He gave me that support. So finding a doctor that will support you during this stage is so important. And it's hard. It is probably the hardest part to find that, to get that access, but everything's hard. It's hard. Everything in life is hard. And we just have to work harder. And I know it
Yeah.
sounds bad, but we have to just work harder at our hormone health. And so that's the first start, is getting support if you have symptoms. And then movement, daily movement is key. Any type of movement, walking with purpose, I always say, lifting weights. You don't have to strive for perfection, but just being healthy and wanting to feel your daily movement is helping your physical health, your mental health, all of that. So that's key. And then I try to live like the 90-10. I try to live a very clean life with foods, and I try to eat whole foods. Occasionally, I 10%, I like to, go to the movies and have the candy and all the popcorn and the soda. But it's something that I just don't live by all the time, because it's how I want to feel. So I know the importance of nutrition and how I feel, and I know those effects. So I'm pretty strict on that because I know what can happen.
Yeah, it is. And it's hard also because I feel like we are in a society that wants instant gratification. And if anyone physically sees you, like you are so muscular, you're in such good shape, you're super healthy, but that did not just happen overnight
No,
when you realized I'm in perimenopause and I don't have any hormones.
people don't realize I was overweight. Yeah.
Really? That's
Yeah.
hard to even imagine.
Yeah. I mean, I was over 220 pounds and I've struggled with weight. And when I was starting perimenopause, I was overweight and I gave myself a goal, a 5-year goal. And it took 5 years. I mean, people want that quick, I want to lose weight right away. And that's why all this world of, GLP-1s and all that, hard work. It's hard work. It's year after year. It's a lifestyle. And I always say this, the quicker you can get to it being a lifestyle, the less juice cleanses you're doing, the less fasting. I mean, I've tried it all. I've done it all. And and once you just realize it really is simple, it's just consistency and eating whole foods and listening to your body and focusing on good quality sleep and focusing on your hormone health, things can change.
Yeah.
They really can.
So, talk to me about your business because you were an entrepreneur, but that was not always the case. So,
Mhm.
let's talk about your business and how did this lifestyle translate into building a business?
So I actually was a social worker originally and a high school counselor. So I've always been in a helping profession. And then my husband and I started getting sick with perimenopause, and I was having a lot of issues sleeping. Like everyone, hot flashes or waking up. And I had a lot of anxiety going into sleep, where I knew I had to take my kids to school in the morning. I had to get sleep. And so it provided a lot of anxiety that I couldn't. So my husband is a RN and his dad was a compounding pharmacist. And he started playing around with magnesium and lemon balm and ashwagandha and all these herbs. And we started creating a nighttime tea for me. And it just evolved that way. And so it started and it works. And so I went, we should really, we should create this. And so our first product was sleep. And then my husband is very into lifting weights, intermittent fasting, and he wanted something that he would like for himself. So he made a product with creatine and essential amino acids and electrolytes. And it just evolved into these two products. And then it was the beginning of Fuel Forever. And then I wanted to do more. And I wanted to make a healthy protein bar. I was tired of what was out in the market. And I just said, you know what, let's do it. And then one step further, I wanted to give back more. And I wanted purpose with products. And so we actually create products with kids in a high school. So last year we did a middle school and this year high school.
So talk to me about that because I think that is so cool what you were doing. So talk about that. Tell everyone what you're doing because I think it's so inspirational. It's cool.
So being a high school counselor, that was my past. I miss that part of giving back and being there with kids. And, we're creating these products, but it would mean so much more to give back and have kids create it with us. So we go, last year we spent in a local middle school and they created the flavor. They create the taste testing, the packaging. They learn how to make a product and bring it to the market from the beginning to the end. So they have access to all these things that they never have: design, pricing, even just creating the taste, the nutritional label. We had certain parameters. It has to be organic. It had to have no artificial ingredients. So we were very strict on what we wanted, but it had to taste good. And kids, no. And we're trying to, change the landscape of kids' snacks. So if kids are going to snack healthy, they have to have buy-in. They have to like it.
Yeah.
So we need kids to help us. Like, what do you like? So this year we're at high school and we're doing 2 new flavors. And I love this. I love being back with them. And we go in and we teach them about the ingredients and the label and what the requirements are with the FDA and everything. It's so much fun.
It's so cool because you just light up as you talk about it. It's just, and I can also feel what it might be like for a young teen, right? Or these kids in high school, they're still teenagers. They're a little older teenagers. But for a teenager that, their knowledge about nutrition and healthy lifestyle is normally pretty low in general, some a little higher based on their parents, but in general, not the highest. But yet to engage them at a level of, yes, education, but involvement in something that's actually tangible. And they could be like, hey, man, I had something to do with that. It's like the ripple effect is so cool. How'd you think of that?
Well, I think it comes back to being in the helping profession, as it's always been in my blood. I've always helped people. And I just felt like we're doing this company and it's great and it's successful, but there was something missing. And for me, I needed to do more and I needed to give back more. And I couldn't figure out, I've been thinking about this, trying to bridge that gap. How can I create products, but have purpose? And I couldn't figure it out. And then one day I'm like, wait, why can't we start working in a classroom? And then the school that we worked in last year, I was actually a social worker there. And so for me, I was like, oh, wait, that school, I can go back in there. I know the principal. It would be a really great fit. And so it just worked out. And for me, all I want to do now is I just want to create products with kids and I just want them to drive everything. So this year now, they picked the best flavors. I can't tell them yet because they're just one flavor in particular is so unique. And we're just really excited to have this opportunity with them. And they give us so much purpose. I mean, it just is, it feels good. And ultimately what I want is I want more people giving their time. A lot of
Mm,
people give their money, but I want people to give their time. And
yeah.
because we have a lot of information at our age and these kids need it. So the fun thing is every bag will say the school and back of it. So their school will be on the back of the label and they love that. So they'll always be a part of this, which is really a fun experience. And then I would just love to have a home base at this high school and just have it evolve where we have other companies come in. I mean, I just have a lot of big goals with this.
Which is a beautiful thing. I love that. How long does it take from when they finalize what they feel is like like this is it, until they can actually get their hands on it and tell people and
Yes.
people can go online and buy it? Like, how long is that process for them?
So last year, it's so you have an understanding, we started in September and we are going to give them the product hopefully next month. So it took a
Okay.
year plus to
Yeah.
have the packaging. Now, this was also unique because the flavor, we went through 6 tastings. The kids were really pushing us on this. Now, this year, we've never had this where the first tasting is like we knocked it out of the park. So we were expecting the whole year production and we're in production now. So we're just going to continue to work on art with them because we'll have 2 products. We're working on pricing. We talk a lot about also the my gut connection and the importance of like why we're using the ingredients we're using. It's very easy to make a processed bar and for kids to like it. It's very hard to make a bar that tastes healthy. It tastes
Yes.
good and it's healthy.
Yes, 100%.
As someone that makes protein bars, it's hard to see what's popular out there because a lot of it's not the best. We just want to make a healthier option.
Yeah.
It tastes good. Yeah.
That tastes good. Yes.
Mhm.
And so often those two things don't really go together,
Yeah.
especially in the snack industry. It's hard to get choices that fit both of those
Yeah.
things.
And the kids also see, they're targeted. I go to some of these stores and I see they're not healthy snacks. They're just, I'd rather have them eat a cookie. I really would. The protein cookie, it's like, okay, what's really in there? Let's peel back the layers. And so we're just, we're staying in our lane. It would be easier as a company to go the processed route and artificial ingredients, but
Yeah.
we're just going to stick with our gut and go with how we want to make products. So hopefully these next 2 products come out in the spring. So they'll have them in hand as they're in school.
Yeah.
So they're going to be really excited.
That is so cool. And are you selling them locally in stores so they can see them in store, or is everything done online?
So we're in grocery stores, but we're also on Amazon, e-commerce. Yeah.
Oh, so you're everywhere.
Yeah. And then the nice thing is part of the proceeds of the bag goes back to the school. So whatever they would like, we have murals or gardens. So the school gets to decide what they'd like to do. Maybe a
Ooh.
scholarship. We have a lot of kids in our class that are actually young entrepreneurs already. I would love to help them start their business. So
Yeah.
we're just trying to figure out, the school decide how we can give back.
That is so powerful. I love that. That feels so meaningful and so purposeful. Are there times that you're like, I love all this. I'm just going to give all my time away and just build all this stuff with kids? Or you're
That's
like,
all
I
I
got to
wanna
reel
do.
myself in because we do actually have to make money at this business.
I mean, for me, my gut always says when you do things with purpose, it always
Yeah.
comes back.
Yeah.
And we always do things with our with purpose driven and
Yes.
passion, and it will come back. And I just don't worry about it. I really don't.
Ooh, that's good.
Because I feel like when you create good things and you're honest and you do it for the right reasons, it all ends up working out however it's
Yeah.
supposed to be. And
Yeah.
this is where we're supposed to be right now. We're supposed to be, and it's not easy because we're competing against big companies with big budgets, but
Yeah.
my husband and I we're proud of who we are and what we're doing.
Yeah.
So we're just going to keep doing that.
And you're sticking to your truth. You're sticking to your uniqueness and what makes what you're doing unique and not trying to be somebody that you're not
Yeah, I
in
know.
business and in life too.
Exactly. And we have zero business experience, which is my husband's an RN and I was a social worker. And I mean, I was with foster kids and a high school counselor. And so we laugh because our first meeting, like we sat at the table and we said, I heard we're supposed to do like roles and responsibilities for the company. And like we had, no, Chat GPT was not available back then. Like we did everything ourselves and we know how to do everything within the company. And that's
Wow.
something that we had to learn how to fix the website and Amazon and all. I mean, it's a lot of work competing on Amazon. We're Amazon's choice for one of our products. It takes a team and we didn't realize that. You just don't know. You just think, oh, I'm going to make a product and everyone's going to buy it. It's a little harder.
It's a little harder than that. You
Yeah.
can't just create it and think that they will all
Yeah,
come. And
exactly.
what do you do because you're a food product? So you're FDA regulated because you're a food
Yes.
product, correct?
Yes, we are.
And
And that's a
so,
whole nother.
yeah, how did you learn about all of that?
Well, we're lucky because our manufacturer is fantastic. So we've learned you have to hire people to help you that are knowledgeable. So
Yeah.
we've learned, but we've also learned in this space that everything changes every day. And like, this last, like with everything with the tariffs, like a lot of things slowed us down and we just had to learn patience. And sometimes things aren't going to always go your way. And you just have to be, it will come.
Mm.
And like anything in life, some things just take a little bit longer. So we've learned as business owners just not to freak out. Like, because
Yeah.
things you want to freak out, like, oh my God, it's not here. Or,
Yes.
it's delayed. We had a lot of delays and that just happens. And you just got to
Yeah.
roll with it. If not, then it's going to be a lot of stress. And then I'm working with my husband. So we try not to have that, so he's like, we're both very like even keel about those things. We just try not to let that spill into the marriage and just everything will be okay.
I specialize in mindset. So as you're talking, it sounds to me like there also is a lot of work that you personally have to do for yourself to keep yourself in that lane of just trusting that things are going to work out and trusting that you're on the right path. And so what do you do, if anything? Maybe you don't do anything and you're just magically gifted and like that. But what do you do to keep your head space in the right space to really have the mindset that you do about this overall venture?
Well, I do feel like when you're an entrepreneur, you have to be a little kooky up here. Get it out. Like a little, honestly, I think exercise is my biggest therapy. And I think that is one thing where I can go in and I have that 60 minutes where I can just decompress and relax and breathe. And I do feel like for me, I need self-care because my hormone health is so important. I spend a lot of time resting, meditating,
Mm.
just really being in my head because the world is busy and crazy and you're on social media and you're everywhere and people are saying things and you really have to have a hard shell, and you have to also be in your heart. And so I just check in, and I've learned through therapy a long time ago, being in that. I have my master's in counseling. So being in that profession, I think just really like listening to yourself and tapping in, like, what is real? What's the thoughts and the chatter? And like, let's just get back to like you, like
Yeah.
this is there. So I
Yeah.
think that connecting and checking in is so important.
And you're making time for it, which I think is what you said is something that's so important. It's like the way you described exercise, the way you described making time for meditating and tapping into yourself and really focusing inward. You're doing it almost, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you're almost doing it like that is part of your job,
It is.
is
Yeah.
to be like, this is part of you showing up in life to be the best version of you, to represent the business the best way possible, and to just be living your best life that's part of the job. It's not the obligation. It's not the I should do, I have to do, I'm a failure if I don't. It's like that's kind of part of your job description is to take care of yourself. And these are the ways that you do it.
Yeah. And especially as a mother, I have 3 children and as a wife, and it's important. And as a 50-year-old woman and taking care of our mental health. For me, my mental health is the most important part of my life. Because when you've had issues, you don't ever want to go back. And you have to realize that it could be very easy. And so I always check in with my husband. Like a year ago, I was having real burnout on social media, and I checked in with them. I just said, I need a break. I need to step back. And I always say, like, what's important in life? And I don't post as much anymore, but you know what? It's okay. It's okay because I'm living life and I'm happy. And so I think you would just have to check in and tell your partner if you're feeling overwhelmed, because we all are. I mean, we're going through, every day there's something new that's thrown, and how do we handle it?
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned hormones too. And I would love to have you talk about this a little bit, because it's like, okay, they figure out that part of this is hormonal, but yet it keeps changing.
It does.
So like I find personally it's one of the most frustrating things. It's like a couple years ago, I figured it out. I changed the way I was eating. I changed the way I was doing my intermittent fasting. I changed how I was sleeping. And it worked great. And I was in such good shape, and I was so lean and I was so strong and I felt fantastic. And then fast forward 2 years, and every single thing I did 2 years ago is not working at all. And it's really frustrating as a woman because like they're constantly moving the goalpost. Your body is moving the goalpost.
And it wouldn't be life if we were not going through this, right?
Yeah.
Like this is like, thanks a lot. I thought I had it. And then,
Right.
Hormone health is a tricky little thing. I've been doing it for 10 years. And I tell people you have to have a really good relationship with your doctor, because I still call him and go, I have been having this come up. And he's like, okay, let's see. I check typically I check every 6 months, my labs, and I just keep on track. And you have to have an experienced doctor. I have a book on the side of my bed that I write down symptoms if I'm having anything, just communicating like what you're feeling. Like I was feeling, life, like when my testosterone was low, and like when your testosterone low, it's like loss of energy, loss of femininity, feeling like loss of libido. And then from there, it's like, I need to share with my doctor. And then that's kind of intimate. You're like, but you have to have those conversations. So I tell women, these are very important. Your hormones are very important. And you have to share your symptoms with your doctor. So you're feeling like you have a support. It's a long ride, but it's manageable if you're getting support. It really is.
Yeah.
And I think, and also it comes down to the gut, the mind, the lifestyle. It's not just, okay, I'm going to go on HRT and everything's going to be great and my body's going to be great. No, it comes to lifestyle. It comes to sleep. Are you sleeping well at night? What are you putting in your body? It's the hormone disruptors, like all of those things. If you're sensitive, some women are fine and don't have any issues. I was not that woman. And so I had to be careful, and I still am careful. So I think it's a journey that's kind of a bumpy road, but if you have support, it should be manageable. And you just got to go with the kind of like I just recently switched from testosterone cream to injections because it was my levels. And I'm like, wow, this is life changing. Like I thought I was happy before. And I'm like, this is like a game changer. And I'm starting to notice a little more muscle definition. I'm like, what happened? And, it's just like all these little changes like in your life happen. And it's just part of aging. And, you just got to go with it, roll with it.
Yeah. Roll with it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say one caveat, which you didn't say, but I know is what you're talking about. Every woman is different and the symptoms are very different. And very often, and I've even had this happen to me, and I live right outside of New York City. So I feel like I live somewhere where people are highly educated, the best doctors, everything is uber expensive. And it's like the word symptoms is such a generic term. Symptoms. It's like, okay, symptoms. All right. Do you have hot flashes? Do you have night sweats? And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you don't have any of those? Well, then you're fine. And it's like, but no, I might have these 10 other things that as women, we don't even necessarily know that those could potentially be caused by perimenopause or menopause. But if you're really in tune with your body to begin with, then you start to become more in tune with those things. And so a lot of times we have to be very proactive in advocating for ourselves with our healthcare providers. Because what might look like perimenopause to one woman might not for another. And just because your symptoms are different from some other woman's doesn't mean that you have to just accept what you have going on with your body.
And I think that's what's hard is a lot of women, they're struggling and they don't know where to get the support when they are really like, I didn't realize depression, and my depression was crippling and I'd never experienced it. I didn't realize that was a symptom of perimenopause. So
Yeah.
I know a lot of women in their late 30s that are on antidepressants because they don't realize maybe it's a hormone. And then it's so hard to get tested and find a doctor that they just continue the medication and not really fix any of the issues. So I think symptoms are, I always say, if you're experiencing anything over 40, write down like, oh, that's interesting. I had this joint pain, or that is in my shoulder, or a hairline, anything, write it down and then go talk to your doctor and see what they think. And a lot of times you got to keep searching for the right doctor. A lot of women are frustrated because they're not getting the help.
Yeah. And I'd say that's like 95% of the women are frustrated because they're not getting the help.
And I have a little hack that I like to say is like, it's hard to find, a functional medicine doctor. That's your first place to start. But I also recommend looking into compounding pharmacies in your area and start asking, do you have
Yeah.
any doctors that prescribe regularly? Can you recommend any doctors? And then you start interviewing.
Yeah.
That's something that I really recommend as far as a start.
Yeah. I agree. I had not even heard of a compound pharmacy until like 6 months ago. And as much as I, talk smack about my doctor, because he's sort of like, you're fine.
Yeah.
It's all good. And I'm like, why do I have no sex drive? He's like, oh, it's no big deal. I just tell my wife, you call me whenever you decide you're ready. I'm like, that is not acceptable. I'm sorry. Like, no, but love you,
Yeah.
but no. And he's the one who did get me into the compound pharmacy. And the woman I met with there, the nurse, I mean, talk about a wealth of information. It was really eye-opening.
And I always say, if your libido is not there, that's the first sign that
Yeah.
you need. And we want to have those feelings, and we're not talking about it as women.
Enough.
And I share it all the time, more on TikTok, but I share it all the time that we should want more. We should want that
Yeah.
intimacy with our partners. We should want to feel that at our age, that femininity, that sexuality, all of that. But when your hormones are flat, it's a last thing. It's a chore, you're like, now. And that's where I really needed my doctor to help me. And I said, I want to feel that sense of femininity again. What's going on? And I've had support for 10 years and still I had to tweak some things.
Yeah.
And it's also finding access to doctors that, have the knowledge.
Yeah.
It's the whole picture. And a lot of women will say, oh, well, I'm not having success with HRT. And it's like, okay, well, are they working on all the gut? And what's your lifestyle like? And what's your sleep like? It's just not like a magic. It will help, but it's like the whole
Right.
picture. So you need a
Yeah.
functional medicine doctor to kind of look into it. But then that's access too. That's expensive. And it's just,
Mhm.
it's really hard. But there's a lot of OBGYNs that are doing hormone therapy. And I am seeing a lot more people having success. You can get your levels checked through Quest.
Yep.
You can get your hormone panel without a doctor so you can get an idea. There's a lot of things you can do. You just have to work a little bit harder.
You do. You have to become your own advocate for your own health.
But it's so worth it.
It's so worth it. It is so
Yeah.
worth it. It is so empowering. The knowledge. I remember what I felt like when the first hormone panel came back. And I was like, oh my goodness, look at all this information about me. And I was like, and look at all these things that are not what they're supposed to be. And who would have known?
I know. And we should be telling everybody. Sometimes people see me and go, oh, well, you're fit or you haven't had to deal with it. And they don't realize I've had 10 years and I know the feeling. I know where I've tried everything and nothing worked. And I've tried the calorie deficit and I've tried the fasting for 5 days and it didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I've tried it all. And so I know the pain, but I do know I work hard. And I think we're capable of that. It's hard to be a parent. It's hard to be a wife. It's hard to start your own business. It's hard to get fit. Everything is hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's just hard, but we don't stop. As women, we're tough,
Yeah.
so we can do it.
Yeah.
We just have to work a little bit harder and not give up on us.
Yeah.
We can't give up on ourselves. And that's my biggest thing is fight for your health.
And you're living proof that it is possible for it to get better if you can find the right doctors, the right tools, the right lifestyle for you. You got to be willing to do the work. There is no magic pill, but you are living proof that if you can, things can become drastically different.
Yeah. If you would have said 10 years ago, this is where you will be, I was ready to give up.
Yeah.
So where I was 10 years ago and where I am now, that pain really was a gift because I changed as a person. I really did. And it did not come easy. And it was a long journey. And the exterior is always a bonus of working out. But what I really love is inside. I just didn't give up on fighting for it.
Yeah. Fighting for something better.
Yeah.
So what does a day look like in a life for you?
Oh, I feel very blessed. I love my life. I always wake up early. I'm always an early bird. I rescued 2 puppies.
I love that about you.
That sounded like a good idea. I went to the shelter. I have a 9-year-old dog and he needed a friend. So I went to the shelter. I rescued the dog and then I rescued another one. So I have 3.
Yeah.
I can't go back there because I'll rescue the whole shelter, but it's always the morning with my dogs, drinking coffee with my husband, recapping. My kids are older now. They're driving themselves to school or college. So my life's a little bit different, but it's having that morning that's very special. And then non-negotiable 60 minutes a day of some sort of exercise. It's non-negotiable. I love it. And then from there, it's working, with the business, it's working with products, it's working outside in the yard. I really have a lot of space for living life and enjoying that. And so I'm at a time of my life where I love working, but I love doing a lot of different things. Like you having the garden, we have our honeybees. So we love making honey and, just really life's short. You gotta enjoy those moments. So, just when I shared, I was a little burnt out last year. I just made some changes and the changes are really just enjoying life and those little things. So
balance, which is so important.
Yes.
Yeah. Why are you working so hard if you can't actually be enjoying life? And also having a different mindset around cooking, gardening, being outside, recognizing that those are things that you need to do to fuel yourself and shifting how you look at those from task oriented to ways to provide goodness to you, whether it be because you're getting vitamin D or you're moving or you're just creating a healthy meal that you're then going to fuel your body. Like shifting your mindset about some of these things can be so important.
It really is. And we're moving so fast all the time and we're going, and we're looking on social media and everything. And it just is like, okay, let's slow down. What is fun? What does fun look like? And let's, take a step back. And I just really am priorities driven. Like, is this important?
Mm.
And what is the purpose? What are we here for? And I think that's shifted where I thought I had to do all these things. And now I'm like, no, I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
It's relooking at success, I often say too.
Yeah.
It's like, what is
I
success?
know.
And redefining is success. And I think it's interesting as we age, I think a lot of people that I know, we define success a little bit differently now than we did maybe 20 years ago. And I think that's a really valuable thing is to get people in this age group of, 40 to 60 to really think differently about success and just everything in general. And it's okay to make a shift and look at it differently.
Yeah.
That's okay.
It really is. And the nice benefit is it's your life. You can do what you want.
Yeah.
As far as to make those changes and those priorities. So I feel blessed that I could, learn, have that tool. And my husband's the same way. And we work together. So we have a lot of fun together. And some days he's doing different things. And I'm like, I'm going to do this. And then we recap, and we're always together though. That's the nice thing. So
that is nice. That is nice. All right. So I know you're doing so much with kids in the school, but I have a practical question for some of the people who are listening. How do you take some of this knowledge and wisdom and lifestyle approach that you now have, and how do you transfer it down to your children?
That's a great question. My kids I love that I get to share with my kids what we're creating, because my kids see firsthand, they taste the bars, they taste the bites, they see us online, on social media, they see us doing lives. And I want them to learn that, you want to have passion with your career. And this is something, we're doing something with purpose and giving back. And while, being Amazon's choice, whatever, looks great, but at the end of the day, what do I want to be known for? And I want them to know that we're doing a product and a company that is driven by purpose. And I think they see that because my son's in college and he's already talking about doing this career. And I do think, and having passion with it. So I want them to do what they love, but also give back. And so I hope that trickles down to them. And my stepdaughter wants to be a nurse. And so giving back that way. So I think us showing up every day and showing them what we're doing definitely affects their life. Definitely. And sometimes we're cringe. They see us on social media and they're like, oh my God, you're so cringe. I mean,
I'm so glad to hear that. I hear that all the time.
But what I like is my daughter and I have something, because I told her, I said, sometimes that hurts my feelings when you say I'm cringe. Like I'm doing this, like I'm putting myself out there. And she said, okay, let me change that. For our age group, you're cringe, but for your age group, you're not. And I was like, oh, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
That is
She's
100%
16.
a compliment.
I'll take that.
I'll take that 100%.
So I was like, okay, I'm not so bad. So, I think the kids, they see us in such a different, being on social media, it's probably really strange for them. I don't know. So that part, we just try to show up being authentic and being honest.
Yeah. Yeah. I get a lot of the, Mom, all my friends follow you.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
All my friends follow you. All my friends know what you're doing. And so if you post something that my generation or my friend group thinks is crazy, I get screenshots of it that morning. And I'm like, that's your problem. That's
I know. And you're posting great things. So they should want to listen.
But some of it is just like the mannerisms we use at our age versus their age, or the way we'll use a word. Right now I'm getting all this flack about the word vibes. If I use the word vibes, it sends them all up into a tizzy. And that vibes is like supposedly to them not good. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I'll take screenshots of people that I follow. And she'll be like, yeah, they're all old like you.
Oh, isn't that funny?
Well,
I know.
Okay, well, yeah. Then my old generation thinks there's nothing wrong with the word vibe for like Sunday morning vibes. Like whatever.
I'll have to be careful. I can't use that word now. I'll have to be careful.
Hey, for some reason, it's like it's not hitting with the 19 and 20-year-olds.
Well, I like all my daughter's friends' posts, and then I guess that was kind of cringe. And she goes, "Well, she says you like all her stuff." And I said, "Well, I'm supporting what she posts. Is that not good?" And then she goes, well, no, it's kind of cringe. I go, okay. I'll write that down.
Yeah.
I take
Yeah,
notes.
no, you're not
Okay.
supposed to do that.
Trying
You're
not to be
supposed to
cringe.
see, but you're not supposed to comment. No.
Okay.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep up. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you can't comment. And if you do comment, it has to be in a DM format. And definitely don't start hearting their content because they won't heart your content either. And I'll post stuff and I'll be like, they don't even, she'll be like, oh, so and so saw your stuff. She really liked it. I'm like, well, then why didn't they give me a heart? Oh, no, mom, that
Yeah.
is so not
Or a
cool to write.
comment. Please
Yeah,
subscribe,
no,
like, and
no. So different.
that's
It's so
funny.
different. But you know what? It kind of makes it fun because it also helps us see it through their light and for them to see us through our light. And I do think sometimes it's a little bit embarrassing for them.
Oh, it's
you
probably,
know?
I mean, I'm talking
It's
about menopause all the time. And my daughter's like, oh my God, mom. I'm like, this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to give back. And she's like, yeah, I said, you don't have to follow me. So,
You know what? It's a good role model. It's a good
yes.
role model.
Yeah.
So what might be on the bucket list for you personally as you know, look into the next decade? What's on the bucket list for you?
Well, for sure, I want to keep making products with kids. And then I want to make it on a larger level where I have some companies. Like I'm based in the Silicon Valley. I'd love to challenge Google to send some employees and get them here and teaching kids, you know, new resources. It's access to things that maybe they didn't have access to. That and then travel. Travel's
Ooh.
really what is very important right now. Just my husband lost both parents in 7 years and
Mm.
my parents are 80 in their 80s. And we're just like, you know, it's important that we travel and we, you know, experience life and seeing different cultures. And then with my kids, just getting them to that next stage of independence and having the roots in their home, you know, the house, but going off and being independent. And I just
Yeah.
love seeing my son excel in college and everyone's like, oh, do you miss him? And I'm like, I mean, I love him and I miss him, but I'm so happy he's having fun that
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm
Yeah.
okay that he's gone. It's
It
okay.
is. It's a good stage.
And they always come back. It's not empty. It's open. They always come back.
Of course.
Yeah.
And it's cool to experience them, at least I found. It's really cool to experience them as they are becoming more evolved human beings. It's
I know.
cool to have, you know, early adult children. It's fun.
I like the stage better. I really do. I love the, I've always liked high school kids. I just love this age. And then I love the over 18. It's so much fun to talk about the career and classes and this part. I'm just so excited.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
All right. Before we go, I love to ask every guest. I'm a huge proponent of reading, knowledge, reading. It's so powerful. And I love to ask every guest if there's a book that has impacted you personally or professionally that you think our listeners should read. So what book or books, some people can't do one, what book or books do you suggest people read?
Well, it's interesting because the book Outliers is the reason why I decided to give back and go into the classroom because it's really about access to things.
Yes.
And giving kids this access that they would never have. And so this book I've read a long time ago, but it's actually one of the reasons why I said, wait, what are we doing? You know, we're creating bars, but what could we do to give these kids a different aspect to life, to design, to entrepreneurship, to anything? And that's one book that I feel had such an impact. And the stories are great to read, and it's success but about, you know, timing, and I love that book. So that would be my favorite.
Great. I'm going to link it here so people can go and buy it. And I have read it. I haven't read it in a long time, but I have read that one. So I do remember it. And I'm sure it's on my bookshelf behind me. Okay. So before we go, because I've taken so much of your time and I am so grateful for that. So thank you. Is there anything I didn't ask you that I've missed that you really want to make sure we share with the audience?
I think you did a great job. Oh my gosh. I feel like, you know, you did a great job. You know, I just recapping, I just really want women to just understand that anything's possible over 40. If you would have said at 50 years old, you will be CEO of a company and be on Amazon and making products with kids and making a difference, I would have said, you're crazy. You know, I was like, no way. I really feel anything's possible. And I feel like for me, the chapters of life are really beautiful. And I've had chapters of sadness and I've had chapters of happiness and business. And it's like, make your own chapter. What's next?
Yeah.
So just anything is possible at any age. I'm proof.
100%. 100%. Absolutely. And you know what? You need to be your biggest advocate because it's your life, it's your body, and you need to take control of how you're going to be living it. So, empowering people to become their own advocates is something that resonated with me about what you said. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. It was so great to have you on the show. I will absolutely keep following you. I'm going to put in the show notes how everybody can follow you. And I thank you. You're such an inspiration and you definitely are inspiring me. Like I got to get into the gym and the creatine and all that. And keep
you're
going.
Doing great. No,
and
you're
just
doing
keep
great.
going. Like just keep going down this journey of knowledge and trying to figure it out.
Don't put pressure.
Yeah.
Don't put pressure.
And give it time.
Yes.
And you have to give it time too, because none of these are quick fixes. You have to give it time. You have to give time for your body to respond. You have to really listen to your body to identify what is really working for you and what isn't working for you. And then voice when something isn't working and try something else. Like keep trying. It's okay. Keep going.
I know you're going to figure it out. I'm not worried about you. I know you'll figure it out.
Sure, I'm trying. Thank you, Danielle. Have a beautiful day.
You too.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of the House of Germar podcast, where wellness starts within. We appreciate you being a part of our community and hope you felt inspired and motivated by our guest. If you enjoyed this episode, please write us a review and share it with friends. Building our reach on YouTube and Apple Podcasts will help us get closer to our mission to empower 1 million women to live all in. You can also follow us on Instagram at House of Germar and sign up to be a part of our monthly inspiration newsletter through our website, houseofgermar.com. If you or someone you know would be a good guest on the show, please reach out to us at podcast@houseofgermar.com. This has been a House of Germar production with your host, Jean Collins. Thank you for joining our house.